Hello, everyone. 2 in 2 days. Who'da thunk? Anyway, we are going to do a request video today. Someone asked me to do a review on this third rail locomotive. I don't have, well, this is now my only third rail locomotive in my possession. And I hate to say it, it's now one of my favorites. This is actually a very cool model. Nicholas Warden over there at Warden Entertainment asked me to do the review on this video, so here we go. What we got here is a Denver and Rio Grande Western, former Norfolk and Western K3 Water Buffalo. This is a pretty cool little guy here. I like this thing. I will mainly talk about its Rio Grande history versus Norfolk and Western history, just because I don't know much about that railroad. I can give you a little bit of prototype info on it, on what happened. I do know that these were built in 1926. They have an extremely large boiler. They had 225 psi boiler pressure, and they made 68,880 pounds of tractive effort. That is pretty good. They were a fairly modern design, meaning they had a stoker, a superheater, lubricators, all sorts of stuff. The nickname is kind of funny, the Water Buffalo. I found the original ad for this guy from Third Rail, and they stated that the Norfolk and Western had given them that name affectionately, which is far from the truth. Truth be told, Norfolk and Western did not like these guys. They were not stable at speeds above 35 miles an hour. And the term water buffalo, or the nickname, came from the fact that they used so much water. So it was not affectionate at all. So how these ended up on Rio Grande property was, as many of you know, in the late stages of World War II, Western railroads were pretty hammered for power, so they were running low. Rio Grande was not allowed to purchase new diesels, so they had to get steam. So they ended up buying some of these they bought 4 of them from the Norfolk and Western. Unlike the Norfolk and Western, Rio Grande actually liked them. So they were perfectly suited for what they were bought to do. These guys were mainly stationed on Tennessee Pass as helper service. If any of you guys remember from my M64 video, Tennessee Pass was Rio Grande's main line until that Moffett Tunnel route was opened. So this guy was on the old school portion. The other thing that's cool is, you remember in my last video, I was talking about the history of that Rio Grande Herald. Well, after that Herald is when they went to the Rio Grande speed lettering. So these guys were stationed all over the mountains of Colorado, mainly helpers on Tennessee Pass. Tennessee Pass is fairly famous for you World War II buffs. That's where Camp Hale was. Camp Hale is where they trained the 10th Mountain Division, which were the Alpine fighters. Those were the World War II troops that were trained in skiing, snowshoeing, just high-altitude warfare, basically. The other thing that's cool about Tennessee Pass, we all talk about how the Alleghenies were, big mountains, huge passes, stuff like that. So the western approach for Tennessee Pass is a 3% grade, and it goes up, the elevation is 10,424 feet. So they were working these little guys, but they did it well. These were only owned by the Rio Grande for about 3 to 4 years. They actually were sold by 1948 and they were sold to the Wheeling and Lake Erie, where they, I think, had a fairly long career. I'm not sure. But anyway, let's get into the model here. First off, as usual, this thing is detailed to all hell. I really like it. A nice touch is I really, and you can tell this is a Norfolk and Western tender. I mean, that's not a typical design for, you know, I know Rio Grande used dog houses. That's because of the weather out here. But just the rounded edges and the slopes and everything, you can tell this is not a Rio Grande tender. But it sure fits in well with that logo on it. Detail everywhere. I already showed you the, there you go. You can see the builder's plate. We got the conduit again. I really dig this little step here to get up to the boiler. Oh, come on, focus. Trying to show you more of the conduit. There's a little, there you go, you can kind of see it. A little bit of conduit coming over from the marker light over to the headlight. The electrical on this, if you see, it actually went through the handrail and then terminated out. Good detail on this guy. What is that? That looks like Baker valve gear to me, but you got good detail in there. See your power reverser right there. Air pumps, like on the Williams Mikado, there is a manual ash pan dump that is separately applied there. Another reason the Norfolk and Western did not like these was the small cab. That did not affect the Rio Grande guys. They didn't really care. If it'll focus here, you can, there it is. You got a pull cord. That's a pull cord for the whistle. You got your obligatory opening hatches. Pretty common on these brass guys. So there's your two hatches. Good detail throughout. Sprung drivers. Something that's kind of cool here. Even your trailing truck has suspension. Your tender has suspension. Just a nice model. So now let's take a look at the detail on the inside of the cab here. Let me pull this guy forward a little bit if you don't mind. This is heavier than shit. It's over 10 pounds, which is really amazing to me for a brass model. But okay, let's go inside. So your little red windows are pretty cool. If you look at that, the front set, you've actually got plastic in there to simulate glass. The interior is nuts here. So let's see if I can get a little bit of light in there. Painted gauges, painted valves. You can see there's a throttle up there, and what's really cool, if you look on the right side of your screen, might be the left, I don't know how I got my phone, that is the lever for the brake stand. That is very cool to me. But yeah, you can, hold on here, get the light. There's the throttle hanging down there. You can see it coming down from the top of the boiler back head there. Pretty cool. The opening mechanism for the, to get to the boiler, it's just so cool to me. To get to the firebox. Scale seats, scale guys, glass on the back windows there. Just a nice model. Just a nice model. Tender is equally nice. Just a cool model. So, let me see if I can, well, we'll flip the model over here in a minute. I can kind of show you the drive mechanism on how these third rails work. This thing came with QSI sound, which I'm pretty sure was standard. I don't know if third rail was using TMCC yet. I'm not a third rail expert, but this is a very basic QSI system. It's not train control like PS1 had. It's just a sound system. And I'm pretty sure it was standard. And we'll fire it up and we can listen to it a little bit here. But let me flip him over real quick and we'll take a look at the other side. Welcome to the other side. So, once again, piping, all sorts of stuff. Your sand lines. There's a, come on, focus. There's a good shot of that pull cord for the whistle, like I said. And let's see if we can see in there. There is, let's see, I don't know if this is going to work for us or not. There's your belt. That's your quiet drive system for these guys. It actually works. This thing is very quiet. So it's Pitman powered, which is my favorite, Pitman motors. Ball bearing gearboxes. This thing is pretty heavy duty, and it really runs good. Really runs good. So let me flip her back over, and we will fire it up real quick. Stand by. All right, we're back. So let me fire it up. Also, something else I didn't mention. This thing is geared very low. So very prototype. I mean, it's almost like, I think even in the ad it said they geared it like that, so you didn't need a cruise control circuit because, well, they weren't using TMCC yet. But it does run really good. I will give it that. So hold on. It'll somewhat sound like typical QSI here. Wrong way, of course, because of the CW, but hold on here, we'll get some chuffs. Actually sounds really good in my opinion. Of course, you hear buzzing and stuff because it doesn't like the CW80, but what does like the CW80? So there's a shot of your headlight, your marker lights, which are the correct shade, not too bright, not too dim. Sorry, he's loud. Other little things here, your cut bar works, and you can see a little brass wire going down to the coupler there, which is pretty cool in my opinion. I've never had one that had that. I do like the front end of this guy. It looks muscular. Like I've said in the past, it looks pissed off and ready. Excuse you. It looks pissed off and ready for business. A Sooth smoke unit that has never been fired. Real coal load. Pretty nice. So how I came about this thing is, once again, I got to thank Zach over at Joker's Trains. He found it for me. So I got this for a pretty killer deal. I would, after I shut him up, I would highly suggest this model to anybody. This is just a good, clean runner. If you wanted to upgrade it, it'd be a great candidate. You got plenty of room inside this boiler, trust me. I've been inside of it to do my typical maintenance and everything. You could fit whatever the hell you want in here. Plenty of room in the tender as well. Excuse me. It is just a nice model. I mean, it really is. Don't get pissed. I almost like it as much as I like the M64. Oh, there's something. I'm stupid. These were classified by Rio Grande as M69s. So they obviously still called them mountains or MTs, but yeah, these were M69s. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this quick little overview, Nicholas, and I hope everybody else actually wants to listen to my ramblings, but I just thought it was a cool history on this locomotive. Sorry, I should have done this before. I've had this for about 3 months. I just have not had time to do videos, life and work, and all that sort of crap. But you can see all your separate piping there, of course. But no, a very nice model. Highly impressed with this thing. Quickly becoming one of my favorites in my collection. So if you guys run across one of these in any road name, let me think here. We had, let's see, Norfolk and Western, nickel plate, Richmond, Richmond, Fredericksburg, and Potomac, Rio Grande, and Wheeling and Lake Erie were the railroads this was available in. I do not know what the production numbers were. We can flip the box over here, though, and I can kind of show you what it says. Hold on here, if I don't drop the box. So here's all your different ones you could have got. So I got that right. Norfolk and Western nickel plate, RF&P, Wheeling and Lake Erie. This was made in October 01, so that means it was delivered in 02. I do not. That's Third Rail's old address. But anyway, I was intrigued by it. Just neat little history for a short-lived locomotive on the Rio Grande, but it was one the Rio Grande actually liked, and it served its purpose, and it did it well. So, anywho, these were, like I said, they were only on Rio Grande till about 1948. The reason was Rio Grande had worked the hell out of them. They all needed to be rebuilt, basically. Rio Grande was deep committed into dieselization. They actually dieselized fairly quickly, and they did not see any value in rebuilding these. So that's how they ended up on the Wheeling in Lake Erie. So anyway, hope y'all's got something out of that. I appreciate it. God, man. Not even drinking. It's early. I appreciate every one of you that watches, and I will catch you on the next one. See ya.